Hello and welcome to another training video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at automation in Excel, and I'm always amazed, particularly when talking to people who work with Excel every day, professionals, trainers, how many people are actually not using automation. With some of them it's because they're nervous about the VBA, the whole idea of coding. For others it's because they think it's too complicated. So what I'm going to do in this video is show you how easy it is to get started with automation, recording macros, how you record them, how you save them, and how you run them. And hopefully this will make it much easier for you to dive into this amazing and super efficient world of macros and Excel automation. So let's just jump straight into Excel. And here I've got a blank workbook, and it's just a straightforward new blank workbook as if I've just opened Excel from scratch. Now I'm going to record a series of steps. So this is just a few things that I'm going to do, so actions that I'm doing in Excel. And let's imagine these are repeated actions, so things that I might have to do 20 times a day. So rather than me doing those repeated steps each time I have to do that, I'm going to make it so I do one thing and it does all of those steps for me in one go. So it's not going to save me a huge amount of time for each of these macros I record, but it's going to save me a few seconds for every single one. And that's where you save your time, is on all of these incremental time-saving instances. So let's imagine, for example, that I have to select cell A1, type my name in there and apply some formatting. So that's going to be our simple first macro. So the first thing we need to do is add an extra ribbon to our tabs, which is the developer ribbon. Now if you don't already have that showing, you can right click in any ribbon and say customize the ribbon, and then all you need to do is check the box next to developer. Click OK and you will now have your developer tab and developer ribbon. Now there's another way of recording macros as well, which is down at the bottom here on the status bar. And the way we activate that is if you right click in the space in the status bar, and then you've got the option to show that button or not. Now that doesn't actually start recording a macro, it simply shows the button, which then you can click on the button if you want to start or stop recording a macro. Because we've got our developer ribbon, we're going to do it from here. So I'm going to click on record macro. Now before I do that, what we need to understand is that we need to be positioned exactly where we want to be when we start running the macro, as well as when we want to start recording it. So if I want the macro to record me selecting cell A1, I need to not be in cell A1 when I start recording it, because otherwise the macro will record me doing whatever I do to the cell that's currently selected. So I'm clicking away from A1 before I start recording my macro. Likewise, if I wanted to do something to a specific sheet, I would need to be on a different sheet. If I wanted to do it to a specific workbook, I would need to be in a different workbook before I started recording the macro. Okay. I'm in a different cell, I'm going to start recording the macro. It's asking me for a name. I'm going to call it my name. And you'll notice I've not put any spaces in there. And all I've done is I've capitalized the first letter of each word to make it easy to read. Where do I want to store the macro? So we have a couple of choices here. If I store it in this workbook, the workbook needs to be saved in a format that supports macros. Now the most common of that is the macro enabled workbook, XLSM, and that's what we will be using today. There are others, but that's the one we will be using. A standard XLSX file format does not support macros, so if you do have a recorded macro and you save as XLSX, it will simply delete the macro from the file. Now the other place that we could store it is personal macro workbook. Now the way macros work is you can run any macro from any file that you have open on any other file. Now the personal macro workbook is actually a hidden file that you've got open in the background all the time whenever you have Excel open. So that means if we save a file to personal, we can actually run it on any file we've got open. So why might you choose one or the other? Well, if you chose this workbook, it might be because you want to save this file somewhere and let someone else open the file and run the macro. So of course the macro needs to be stored with the workbook rather than on your computer where only you can run stuff. If you store it on personal, it lets you use that macro on any file you have open. So that's where we're going to save this one. We're going to save it on personal macro workbook, and I'm going to click OK to start recording. I now see here I've got the stop recording button, and down here I have the same stop recording button. Now this one is very useful because it means that if I've gone to a different ribbon, just by glancing down I can see that I'm still recording a macro, and I can also come here to stop recording that macro. So this is what we're going to do. I'm recording the macro. I'm going to record myself selecting A1. I'm going to write my name in the cell, and I pressed Control Enter so that I stay in the same cell, and I'm now just going to make it bold and bigger. Now I can stop recording the macro, and that's all there is to recording a macro. Now let's dive in and have a quick look at how we would run that macro. So I'm going to delete, and I'm going to go back to my developer ribbon, click on macros, and here I see a list of all the macros that I have, and at the moment I only have one macro in my personal XLSB, and it's called my name. That's the one I just recorded. If I hit run, it does what I recorded myself doing. So that's very straightforward. However, let's have a look at the code itself. Now the way we go into the code is we can go up to Visual Basic, but if you look there, the keyboard shortcut is Alt F11. This shows me all of the files that I have open. So I have book 1 open, but I also have personal XLSB, that's the hidden file, and that's where our macro is stored. Now the macros are stored in modules, and module 1, when I double click, there's what I just recorded myself doing. Now the great thing about macros is we never actually have to see or write the code, so we're not going to bother. I just showed you where it was, so if you do decide to go and change something, you know how to get to it, but we don't need to actually do that. Let me delete this again. I'm going to show you a different way of actually running or executing a macro. Now here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a button on my quick access toolbar. If I click on the drop down and say more commands, what I'm going to do is change this popular command to macros. I'm going to find the my name and click add, and then OK. Now you'll notice that we have an icon up here, and all I need to do is click that icon and it runs the macro. Let me delete that again. The problem with this is that it's a generic icon for all macros. So let's change it and let's edit that. So more commands. I'm going to choose that personal XLSB, and I'm going to say modify. I'm going to choose an icon from over here. Let me choose the little balance scales, and I'm also going to change what comes up as the display name. So I'm going to change it to write my name and click OK. Now when I hover over that icon, it comes up with the write my name tooltip, and if I click on it, it will execute that macro. Now that's all well and good, but there's another way of doing this as well. If I press the Alt key, I get the number 6 next to that icon. So Alt 6 is my personal keyboard shortcut for running that macro. Okay, let's have a look at a different way of doing this. So I'm going to save this file. Right, I'm going to close it. I don't need to save it. and I'm going to make a brand new blank workbook. Now, this workbook here is one that I might want to save and have a macro in it so that other people can run that macro. And what the macro is going to do is actually open up the file that I need for my weekly report, and then maybe copy and paste some data into this file here. Now I need to get this file structurally how I want it to be before I carry on any further. What I mean by that is, I mean everything in it that has a name needs to already have the correct name. Otherwise, as I record myself doing steps, I'll be recording myself doing it to that specific named thing. So I need to make sure that all the names are correct before I start. So this one is going to be start. I'm then going to add a new sheet. This one is going to be called data. And I'll add another one. And this one might be called dashboard. Okay, I'm also going to save and close this file. So, sorry, just save it, but I'm going to save it with a name that makes sense. So I'm going to put it on the desktop for now. And I'm going to call it Friday Report. But the most important thing is I'm going to save it as XLSM, which is macro enabled file format. Click Save. And we now have this saved as XLSM. Now I'm on the data sheet at the moment. I want to start from my start sheet. And the reason is I want the machine to record me switching to the data sheet later on. On the data sheet, I want to do something in A1. So again, I'm going to not be in A1, so that when I'm recording myself doing it, I can record myself selecting A1 on that data sheet. Okay, so now we're set up, we're structurally correct, and we're going to start recording our macro. So developer, record macro, and let's call this Friday files. We're going to save it in this workbook rather than personal macro workbook, and click OK. Now we see we're recording, and we can also see we're recording down here. I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Open, and I'm going to go to my desktop and find a specific CSV file. So I've gone to All Files there, and it's a CSV file for my weekly sales report. So that's the file I'm opening. What I now want to do is select a cell that I know will always be in the data. So I'm going to choose B1. The reason I can't choose A1 is because that was already selected. So I know that B1 will also always be in the data. And now I do Control asterisk, and that will select that range of data however big it is. Control C for copy. I'm now going to switch back to this file and select data and select A1. And now I'm going to paste, and that has copied and pasted all of that file data, however big it was, into this data file here. I can now switch back to my start sheet and stop recording. Now let's have a look at that, but before we do, let's go back to this sheet and delete the data. I've clicked in a different cell, doesn't matter what cell. What I'm also going to do is go back into this weekly sales file, and just to make it obvious, I've actually deleted a load of that data so that this is a different sized range, so we can test to see if it actually works when we do this. So I'm going to close this file now, and I am going to save the changes to it. Now let's try and run the macro. So I go here, I go to my macros, I look for Friday files, and I press run. So in the background it's opened that file, selected the range which has data in it, and that's what it's copied and pasted into this file. So we can see that it does work, and it's always a good idea to test your code, make sure it does work. But at the moment, it's still very awkward for somebody to run. So what most people would have to do to run it is they'd have to show their developer ribbon, they'd have to know to go to macros, they'd have to know what it's called. Let's make life easy for them. On the sheet that I've called start, which is in the file, which is saved with the macros enabled, I'm going to go to insert, and I'm simply going to put in a shape. Now, I do this because the shape is an object. It could be a picture, it could be an icon, it could be anything I like as an Excel object. What a lot of people do is they go here to insert and they choose a command button of some sort because they think that code has to be associated with a button. It doesn't. It just has to be associated with an object of any sort. So insert shapes, I'm going to choose the rounded corner rectangle, and if I hold down Alt before I click and drag, it snaps into the cell corners, and now I can simply write open files, and this might be human speak, so I may as well format it nicely. I can click on the outside of the shape, so I get a solid line rather than a dotted line. That means I'm no longer editing the text. And now I can go to the home ribbon, center and middle, increase the font size and make it bold. Now if I have that shape selected and I right click in it, I have the option to assign a macro. I'm going to choose my Friday files macro and OK. Now this time when I hover over that button, I get the pointy finger which tells me it's got an active link or an action associated with it. So I've closed down that weekly sales file. You can see that I've only got the one file open at the moment. On the sheet data, it doesn't actually matter what cell we have selected because the code selects A1. I simply click on open files. It goes, gets the data, copies it and pastes it in on my data sheet. I can now use that sheet here, or I could have a dashboard pre-prepared with a chart already set up pointing towards that data. If that was formatted as a table, then my dashboard and any slicers would automatically update on it. Okay, I hope that's been useful. It's just a really quick introduction to macros, showing you how to record them, what you need to do before you start setting up recording, where you would save them, and how you might want to run the macros. Let's hope this has demystified it for some people and made them realize how easy it is to start with some simple automation in Excel. Once more, thank you for listening.